it's Derry, Derry Sin Witch Carpenter for the Christian Witches Cove, and this week I am going to discuss animals and how animals have helped me in my Christian faith and how animals have helped me in my witchcraft. In the practice of nature-based practice or witchcraft or paganism or whatever you want to call your path, I have come across several different ways that you can connect with animals or whatever. And there are 3 or 4 animals that I personally have in my practice that I connect with. I have a power animal, which has recently come to me. I have a spirit animal, and I have a totem animal. And I also have a familiar. And some of the ways that you can connect with these animals are through your dreams. You can connect to them via colors, crystals, herbs, because in witchcraft or in nature-based practice, because I'm not going to single it out, in nature-based practices, everything has energy, and everything in the world has energy no matter what faith you follow. Whether it be Christianity, whether it be witchcraft, whether it be, whatever. Everything in the world has an energy or a vibration. And you can join them together if you know what the vibrations are. You can talk to animals, or you can connect with animals via your meditations, via your dreams, via, going astral. But these are some ways to help you connect with these guides that you have, which are colors, crystals, incenses. You can do some spell work. And the way that I do them is that I will look at how and why I connect to those animals. And these are not just simple house pets. These are something on a whole other level. Now my familiar is our house pet, but she's the family's house pet, but she's my familiar. And a familiar is an entity that comes to you in your practice and guides you in your practice and guides you in your faith. And she's a little black cat. She wears a red pentacle. She wears a silver pentacle on a red collar. Her name is Hermione. And usually she is always underfoot. She is always, when I am doing something in this room, she is always here. She's always very curious about what is going on in my witchy room and why I've got certain herbs out and what I'm doing. And she's usually either under my feet, in my window, or on my desk. But she is also a protector for not only me, but for my family. Through this cat, we found out we had a malevolent entity in our home that we had to get rid of. And I found that out because a friend of mine came to visit, and she's like looking at Hermione, and she's a medium, and she was looking at Hermione, and she's looking at the way she's acting, because we're all sitting around the kitchen. And in the kitchen was this malevolent entity. She was in one corner. It was a female, and it was in one corner of the kitchen. And Hermione would never go in that corner. And every time that she would get anywhere near that corner, she would arch her back, and her ears would lay flat. She would snarl, she would hiss, she would bristle, she would growl. And my friend said, "Oh, you have a malevolent entity that we need to stop what we're doing right now, and we need to banish, and we need to get rid of it." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." And we also found out that, and we did it, we got rid of it, so I kind of knew something was very special about this cat. This is before she presented herself as my familiar. But yeah, I always knew something was very special about her. Because she went above and beyond to protect this family. And then I noticed when I would come and do my workings or whatever on my altar or in the kitchen or whatever, she was always like under my feet and meowing and wanting me to pick her up and wanting to smell and be curious. And I was like, okay. So I did some research on familiars and I was like, okay, this really sounds like Hermione. And so through that we discovered that she was my familiar. But recently, within probably the last month, I have discovered that I have a power animal. And I don't remember my dreams. The only way I can really remember my dreams is if they are very prophetic and I have a medium or a guide or something, a deity or something come through. That's the only way that I can remember my dreams. And the last 3 or 4 dreams that I have had, she has come through. This power animal has come through, and it's a wolf. And I was like, okay, why am I seeing a wolf? Why is a wolf connecting with me? Why is a wolf in my dreams? It's nuzzling me, it's protecting me, it's holding my hand. And a power animal is an animal that you call on when you feel weak, when you feel powerless, when you're in need of courage, when you need a guide, and when you need a protector and a guardian to protect you from things that you need to let go of. But it's not protecting you in the sense of, oh, you can't let go of it. It's protecting you while you are letting go of things that no longer serve you. And that's what my power animal is. My power animal has come to me lately and in the form of a wolf. And I also follow the Morrigan, and the wolf is also one of her sacred animals. The wolf, the crow, the raven, and so I went to my spirit animal oracle deck and I looked up the wolf. And the wolf means turning knowledge into wisdom. So I took that as I have a wealth of knowledge that I need to start imparting to others, that I can turn it into knowledge. I can take my knowledge and my truth and give it to others and let them take my wisdom and learn and grow. And a spirit animal is a guide that guides you on your journey and teaches you all the lessons that you need to learn to achieve peace in your practice and in your life. And for me, and I've had this one for quite a while, for me that happens to be the peacock. And the peacock represents beauty and harmony and nobility and loyalty and happiness. That's what the peacock represents, and it's overall it's beauty. And I've had trouble lately with connecting to that part of me, because I just don't feel beautiful. I just don't. I mean, and I know I'm beautiful in spirit, but I don't feel beautiful in body. I don't feel beautiful in this entity that I am right now, in this version of me. But the spirit guide, my spirit guide is the peacock. And my very first deity that ever came through to me was Hera, and she is the goddess of family and marriage. And the funny thing is, the peacock came to me at a time when I was really struggling, because I was letting go of one marriage and entering another. It was that time period of that in-between where I was getting compliments from one side and hatred from the other, and anger and hurt and spewing negativity. So I was very confused. I don't know what end is up, blah, blah, blah. So the peacock came to me at a time when I needed it the most. And when I need to connect with these guides and with these guardians, I will look up things like the colors that they represent. Like the peacock represents blues and greens and purples and yellows. And I will look up herbs or crystals. I will look up herbs and flowers that have those same properties and those same meanings and those same vibrations. And I will make an incense to use in a meditation to help me connect, to help me bridge that gap. If I can't focus, that incense will help me bridge that gap, so I can connect with my spirit guides, and I can connect with my power animals, and I can connect with my totem animals to learn the lessons that I need to learn. But then I will also do that with crystals if I'm holding a crystal that resonates. But also, a totem animal is an animal to represent your team, your clan, it could be an individual, it could be your family, it could be a tribe, it could be somebody but it represents somebody that you're soul matched with. And for me, that is the dragonfly. And the dragonfly is truth transcends illusion. And what that means to me is that my truth will transcend the illusion that everybody has about me. And that I have to live my truth. That I have to confront the good, the bad, the ugly. I have to own it. And I have to stop putting on or and I don't think I do this now, but I know I did at a time where I would put on a persona and I would be like, oh yeah, everything's great and everything, and not want to deal with the reality of, oh yeah, no, not everything is good. Everything's a pile of shit. And I have to own that. And that's what I learned, is through a lot of loss and a lot of drama and a lot of chaos that I caused. I personally caused. And I will own that till the day I die. But I had to learn that truth will transcend the illusion that I was trying to put on. Hi furry, come here. Are you playing in the shadows? Okay. As I said, my familiar. And I think that it does represent my family, because in my family I am the only surviving child of 6 pregnancies. And when the dragonfly says that or when the totem animal says that it's soul matched, I was a twin. So I really want to think that the dragonfly is somebody that I'm soul matched with, but it could be my twin, could be my husband, could be my child, could be, it could be, I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't quite learned where and why and how. And can you say hello? This is Hermione. This is my familiar. And as you see, she's wearing her red collar with a little red bell, and which is her protection and her pentacle. Can you say hello, everybody? She's like, no, I don't want to be here. Say hello? No? Okay. She just wants to lay down here in the sunbeam and the heat. But that's kind of where I like to think that my totem animal connects me to. And you can take this a step further and look at, if you don't quite know who is who or what is what, look at, take a childhood animal that you really liked, or, your favorite stuffed animal, or why do you like my son Jake loves hedgehogs. He doesn't know why, he just really likes hedgehogs. So, and they kind of remind him of himself because he's very prickly on the outside, and then there's a big old love bug on the inside. But you have to, in order to get to the love bug, you have to get through all those prickles. And so I did that too. And one animal that I've always connected with and I've always loved is the cow. And the ironic thing is that when I was following Hera, Hera's two sacred animals were the cow and the peacock. And when I found that fascinating. And when she left me is when I really connected, amazingly enough, was when I really connected with the peacock. And we don't have peacocks around here, but all of a sudden, for like 3 months straight, I was seeing the colors of the peacock, I was seeing peacock feathers, I was seeing peacock art, I was seeing peacock clothes, I was seeing peacock, and I was like, okay, something's going on. Something is going on. I really need to sit down and go, why am I seeing peacocks everywhere? What is going on? So that's actually how I learned about the peacock, was my spirit guide. But yeah, you can look at animals in the Christian faith and in the Bible, and to me, what I get out of it is the animals are pure of spirit. And there's animals all through the Bible. You know, the very first animal you think of is the snake in the Garden of Eden. And yeah, that was not a very nice animal, but it's not, it's the intention behind it. And the lessons that snake had to teach Adam and Eve. And I look at animals and their spirits and what they're trying to tell us as lessons. You think about things like that, and it's not really hard to see how the Christian faith and witchcraft can combine and just be matched effortlessly, and how they can go hand in hand, and how they can coincide. It's not that hard. You just have to dig a little deeper, and you have to go beyond what you're taught, and you have to go beyond what society tells you. I look at animals as pure of spirit, and I would never want to harm an animal. I am not a hunter. Nobody in my family is a hunter. Well, couple of my nieces and nephews are hunters, but nobody in my children aren't hunters. My husband's not a hunter. And that's why I really love certain movies. And, you know, you look at Disney movies. I'm going to be really silly about this. You look at Disney movies and how in, like, The Lion King, it is a circle of life. Humans and animals, and how in Disney movies, humans and animals can coincide effortlessly. The Jungle Book. It wasn't effortless, but it's you know, it's really simple. And the one movie that I really love is the movie Avatar. And in Avatar, it's all about the circle of life and how you can take, and everything is alive, and everything vibrates, and everything has a voice, and everything, you know, and everything is on a frequency, and that's what nature is. It's a giant frequency, and you just have to tap into it. But I love in Avatar when they tell you, when like she kills the animal, but when she kills it with the intent. She goes over to it and she stabs it to end its pain, but as she's stabbing it and as its life is draining away, she's praying over it and she's releasing its spirit to the gods, and she's saying, thank you for feeding my family with your meat, and thank you for giving your hide for my clothes and my tents, and thank you for giving me your bones for tools and for things that, you know, and if I were, I am a meat eater. I am not a vegan. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not a vegan. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I know lots of vegetarians and vegans, and that's fine with me. I just happen to be a meat eater. But when we do get meat that was hunted, I do know that when my nieces and nephews give me that meat, they have prayed over it. They have released its spirit, and they have, and my one niece and nephew, their mom is a naturalist. So she saves every part of that animal that she can. And she will make purses and clothing and tools, but she's not, just like the Native Americans did. One thing that I was blessed with is she has gifted me some things that I am fascinated with. I have never been into, unless the last 3 years I've really gotten into skulls, like animal skulls. And it's because I saw friends of mine were painting them. And so she gave, this is a little gopher skull. This is where the eyes go. These are the little teeth. These are the teeth. And there's the teeth. Whoa. And I've painted it, and it sits on my altar. I've painted it for the chakras, and it sits on my altar. And let me see, where did that go? My sister-in-law also does a lot of, she finds, because they live out in the woods. She also, and that's the wonderful thing, is she goes on a nature walk every morning, and she'll obviously find dead animals in the woods. And she kind of, if she doesn't use the meat, but she will try and find a way to harvest the pelts and the bones as naturally as she can, and then she will take them in her workshop and she will make clothing or tools or hides, and she'll make purses. And the one thing that I don't have that I would love to have is a purse from her, but she makes purses out of turtle shells that she finds. And she gifted me a turtle shell that was too small for her to make this is a snapping turtle shell. But I really liked it, and so she gifted it to me. So I have this sitting down here, so I use this sometimes when I want to connect with a turtle or something. I will put a message in there, and I will use that for some spell work. That's just kind of things that I use in my craft. And like when I talk about harvesting and foraging, and I can do some foraging and some wild crafting. I just don't know enough. I'm still really learning about wild crafting and how to. But in the spring, when your yard is full of dandelions and they're just annoying and blah, 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 harvest those suckers. You can make tea, you can make tinctures, you can make, and I do that. And I will put like the big white fluffy ones in bottles. I will let my kids make wishes out of them. And when you blow on a dandelion puff and it releases all the seeds, that to me is a form of witchcraft. That to me is a form of prayer. That is, you're releasing your wishes, and you're releasing your dreams, and you're releasing onto the universe, and letting God or source or whatever you want to call it hear and listen. You're putting your intention into that little fuzzy white puffball. Or your prayers, or your wishes, or your hopes, or your dreams, and you're releasing it to the universe. That's how I view animals. Animals are sacred, and I don't ever want to harvest an animal that I don't want to ever sacrifice an animal or whatever that I can't do purely. And find the most humane way to harvest it. And to, we have all those animals on the side of the road. I would never go and take an animal off the side of the road and find a way to harvest it. No. That's because it's not pure. It was hit. It's no longer pure. It was an accident. It was, and that animal died in pain. That animal died in fear. That animal, it's no longer, to me, it's no longer pure, and that's why I'm all for, if you are a hunter, please do it humanely and find a way to, don't just discard the stuff you're not going to use. Find a way, either send it to somebody, or find a way to either use it or pass it on to somebody that you know will use it, and do it humanely. But yeah, that's kind of my spiel on power animals, totem animals, spirit animals, and how I use them in both my faiths. And I hope that helped, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great weekend. Bye, guys.